Xtalks connects professionals in the life science, medical device, and food industries with useful content like webinars, job openings, articles, and virtual meetings to help you succeed in your career. This food industry-focused podcast brings together some of our editorial staff to share insights into the latest B2B industry news to help keep you up to date.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Xtalks Food Podcast. I'm Sydney Perlmutter, Senior Food Industry Journalist and Webinar Moderator at Xtalks.com, and this week I'm joined by Aisha Rashid and Vera Kovacevic. Thanks for coming today. So Halloween is just around the corner, so it's very fitting that I'll be talking about a Halloween-themed story today to start us off. So if you haven't heard of them before, McDonald's came out with something called Boo Buckets many years ago, and they're bringing them back this year. They were sort of a tradition that many looked forward to when Halloween came around back in the day. And these are just ghost-themed pails, which became a fast food sensation since their inception. And they hold a special place in the memories of both kids and adults alike. So in a statement, McDonald's said, "Let's be honest, spooky season isn't official until Boo Buckets are back at McDonald's." It's very presumptuous of McDonald's to say, very centered around, their company. But so starting October 17th, fans can get in the Halloween spirit at participating McDonald's restaurants nationwide with 4 new Happy Meal designs, including Monster, Skeleton, Mummy, and Vampire. So the buzz around Boo Buckets seems to rejuvenate each year, especially with McDonald's announcing their comeback this year. So for Halloween 2023, the franchise has spiced up the Boo Buckets collection with a new entrant, which is a purple vampire Boo Bucket, adding to the additional green goblin, orange McPumpkin, and white McBoo. So let's just talk about the history of these buckets, because I'd never heard of them before. So in 1986, McDonald's introduced this whimsical twist to its Happy Meal offerings by packaging them in Halloween-themed buckets, which could also serve as trick-or-treat pails for kids. Known for their playful designs, these pails quickly became emblematic of McDonald's seasonal offerings, marking a delightful phase in the Happy Meal saga. The evolution of Boo Buckets over the years reflects McDonald's attempt to keep the Halloween excitement alive. Notable design alterations included the glow-in-the-dark feature, introduced in 1990, and an innovative cookie cutter lid in 1992. However, it was in 1991 that McDonald's briefly veered from the bucket design, offering glow-in-the-dark vinyl treat bags under the name McBoo Bags, which although a deviation, didn't diminish the love for Boo Buckets. The 2010s brought forth collaborations with other characters like Mr. Potato Head and entities like Peanuts and Monster High, adding a contemporary touch to the traditional Boo Buckets. And though there was a pause in their availability after 2016, the news of their return last year reinstated the Halloween tradition with a slight tweak in design featuring cardboard lids. And their grand reappearance ignited a flurry of excitement on social media as anticipation bubbled for weeks leading up to this nostalgic revival. And as the Boo Bucket saga continues for 2023, the allure seems to remain intact, with the newest Vampire Purple bucket already creating a buzz. And their design, now with more ornate handles, retains the nostalgic charm while embracing a fresh touch. So the cost, obviously, of Happy Meals fluctuates across different McDonald's outlets, though they're typically priced between $5 and $7, and the inclusion of the Boo Bucket substitutes the usual toy that comes with the Happy Meal, so there aren't any additional charges. But given the substantial pre-release publicly surrounding the Boo Buckets, a swift sellout is highly probable. Collectors in particular might be vying to secure all 4 color variants, potentially impacting the stock levels at restaurants, and these coveted pails will be available through Halloween or while supplies last. Collecting the buckets has almost turned into a hobby for some, with the rarity of certain designs amplifying the thrill of the hunt. And a peek into online marketplaces like eBay reveals a bustling trade of these cherished pails, with prices fluctuating based on the year and design. So what came to mind for me was that even though these are obviously meant for children, much like the toys that come with typical Happy Meals, it seems like McDonald's has really been able to sort of create these limited time items or even just meal, like actual like menu items that adults have become really, really into and want to collect. And I did do a quick search on eBay, and I was finding like these boo buckets from the 80s and 90s, not for terribly expensive prices, but there is like sort of this sort of fandom around these things. And obviously they're reintroducing them again this year. And I just have a feeling that even though, like I said, they're meant for kids, I think adults may try to get their hands on them. It's kind of like a Beanie Baby craze. Like we think they're going to go up in value once, in 20, 30 years from now. So what do you make of the return of this, once iconic bucket for Halloween, and how McDonald's, does this type of marketing?
Yeah, I wonder why they disappeared for a time. Like, I guess they discontinued it, and now McDonald's is launching it again. So that's interesting. I think with the rise of social media, like other people are seeing that they're back, and it's probably reminding them of their childhood. So I don't know. They may go to McDonald's now and get a Happy Meal just for a boo bucket. It's not something I would do personally, but
oh, come on.
I mean, I don't think so, because I don't even remember seeing them when I was a kid. I don't remember boo buckets. Did you guys?
I vaguely remember them. Like, I had no idea like they were called boo buckets, but I don't know. I feel like I've seen them, like, but I feel like they weren't a huge thing, or maybe that's just me, but like, yeah, very vague memories. Maybe I was too young, but wait, they were around until 2016, right? And then paused in 2016. Is that right?
I think probably on and off. I couldn't exactly track down, like, yeah, they were around in the 2010s. I don't want to say that they were around every single year in the 2010s. But yeah, there was a pause after 2016 until last year, and now they're back again this year. And then there was, I looked up the glow-in-the-dark vinyl bags. Those ones seemed a little bit underwhelming. Because, well, it's just another bag. A bucket at least lasts. And I appreciate the idea of, like, a dual, the meal comes in it, and then you also use it for trick-or-treating. I like that. I like that. Yeah, it's sustainable, it's got multi-use.
Exactly. Yeah, I do think I have seen these around. Yeah, I think I have seen trick-or-treaters with them too. So they've been around, and I think, it's McDonald's, right? Like, their marketing has always been really, really good, and I think they're just playing probably on the nostalgia with the boo buckets here, which again, I didn't even know that's what they were called, but yeah. And again, like you guys were mentioning about social media, I think everything, things tend to blow up there, so I think yeah, it's pretty cool. And again, I like the fact that they are buckets and they can be reused. Yeah, I think kids would definitely go for it, and probably adults too, who are, just for the nostalgia and things like that. So yeah, pretty cool. And it comes with like the Happy Meal, but not the toy, because because the bucket is the toy.
Yeah. What do you think of the size of the boo bucket, Sydney? Do you think it's big enough?
For me, it's not. I was actually thinking about that, because I was like, is this a strategic, play to indicate that you shouldn't have candy that is overflowing or more than these buckets? And it's kind of hard to get like an idea of how big they are. I also don't think McDonald's whatsoever has the authority to dictate how much candy is healthy for a kid, given the food that they sell. Yeah, just from the picture, and this is the only picture I could find from McDonald's, they do look kind of on the smaller side, but I guess, if you put it next to a child, it could be a little bit bigger. I guess if you don't think it's big enough, you bring a backup pillowcase for that overflow.
I was actually thinking that this might be a good way for, if they're small, like for McDonald's to be like, oh, you need more boo buckets. Yeah. So you need to collect more, right? Because I'm just trying to see how big are boo buckets.
I mean, they look like the length, like maybe the length of like a human head, maybe shorter than that. It's not. And I know little kids, like 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds, they can't carry a huge bucket, so it makes sense for them.
That's true.
Oh my
true.
God, they're tiny, actually. Yeah. Oh no,
that's not
that
enough,
is
right?
No, that's not good for a good load. No. No.
Yeah, so maybe it is an incentive to get a few.
Yeah,
one for the parent, one for the kid, or multiple kids.
Gotta stock up on them. I remember back in the day, like I'd have some really impressive hauls when I was a kid. Candy hauls, like, oh my gosh, it was crazy. But I'd say like sometimes 3, grocery bags worth doubled up because they were so heavy. So, but then, I don't know, progressively, like it just dwindled. But I remember, when I was really young, like it was
no way would this food bucket be enough for me.
Oh no, I'd probably need 6 of them.
More.
No, maybe 6 to 10.
Yeah.
Probably, No, these are too small. No, I'm not going to cut it.
All right, McDonald's,
For the childhood I
2024
had.
redesign. Let's make these 3 times as big. All right, moving on to our next story. So in August, Campbell Soup, it acquired Rouse sauce owner Sovos Brands for $23 a share, which reflected a total value of a staggering $2.7 billion. So Sovos, which is a company I'd never heard before, its other food brands include Noosa Yogurt and Michael Angelo's, but its standout star has always been Rouse. So what makes this sauce brand essentially worth billions of dollars, and will Campbell's new ownership impact the brand? So let me tell you a little bit about Rouse. So it was founded in 1992, and its sauces expanded out of a historic Manhattan restaurant that offered expensive Italian food products. And since then, it's become the leading brand of high quality sauces, but its offerings also include dry pastas, soups, and frozen entrees. But Rouse accounted for nearly 70% of Sovos Brand's 2022 sales, or approximately $837 million. So Sovos, which only was founded 6 years ago, went public in 2021. And early on, the company noticed that brands emphasizing craftsmanship, transparency, and compelling narratives were on a rapid rise in the food sector. And this led Sovos to acquire and foster such brands for a greater expansion. Michael Angelo's was its first acquisition, followed by Rouse, and it's now become a renowned company for its exceptional sauce range. So since Sovos' acquisition of Rouse in 2017, the brand has expanded over 9-fold, according to Yuri Hermida, the chief growth officer at Sovos. A noteworthy achievement is volume-driven growth, particularly in an era where growth is often price-driven. So with Rouse, the brand has consistently seen close to 50% annual growth in volume. But there's a catch to it, and that is that each jar is $8. So it's obviously a much higher price point than fellow Campbell's brand Prego. Now, despite the premium price tag, the brand has gained quite a cult following thanks to its inclusion of high-quality ingredients and simply just word-of-mouth marketing. Rouse's impressive success has only been possible because consumers are willing to spend more money for quality items. And while price is typically reflective of various costs associated with production, packaging, and distribution, Rouse also uses its high price point as a selling point. It differentiates Rouse from other competitors since many consumers see it as an indicator of quality. So Campbell's, famously associated with its soup, and you may think of it from owning Goldfish crackers, might not initially seem like the right fit for a premium food label. But for a large corporation aiming to tap into that premium sector, acquiring a top-tier brand can be a strategic move. And this allows the company to cater to customers already accustomed to upscale prices without upsetting their current customer base by raising any costs. So when the acquisition was announced, Campbell's and Sovos were very enthusiastic about the deal. However, there was online resistance, especially from devoted Rouse enthusiasts. Many voiced worries about potential changes in the popular sauce's flavor or ingredients. And as it stands, Rouse promotes its homemade sauces as free from added water, tomato paste, sugar, or colors. The new management, though, has committed to maintaining Rouse sauce's signature taste. "We will not touch the sauce," affirmed Mark Klaus, the CEO of Campbell's. "If the flavor stays consistent, most consumers won't be concerned about the change of ownership." So this transaction is expected to close by the end of December. So I thought this was awesome. I mean, I have never tried Rouse before, but I had seen it actually, I think either on social media or somewhere. I'm not even sure. I think it's available in Canada, but I'm not too sure. However, I absolutely need to try it after, researching the company a bit and writing about it. And I think it was a really strategic investment from Campbell's, because when you become the, renowned for a product or a couple products, I think that is like a really, especially for in such a crowded space like pasta sauces, you've really outdone yourself, and that's a huge achievement. And, Campbell's noticed that and acquired the brand. So what do you make of this acquisition? Have you heard of Rouse before? And also, what do you think about that, the price tag? And would you be willing to spend $8 for a jar of pasta sauce?
Yeah, it's funny because like the other day I was at the grocery store and I saw like sauces that were like $9.99, $10 and over for pasta sauce. And it's like, wait, what? But then it was kind of like, yeah, we're just so conditioned into like going into stores and buying like cheap pasta sauces, right? That have preservatives and sugars and stuff like that. So I think maybe this might be like, it's great to see that like you have different sauces of varying qualities now entering the market, because either it was like, people making their homemade sauces or just resorting to like, supermarket sauces, which haven't been known to be the best quality. But now that, with sauces like Rouse, which has been around for a long time, again, I hadn't heard about it, but I think we're seeing more and more high quality. I'm not sure what the word would be, but like maybe better quality sauces.
Yeah.
In the market now available to consumers. So I think that is great because choice is great. I think it's all about that. And to have such a big name like Campbell, having bought out and, the Rouse sauce, and for it to be doing so well for it, I think, definitely a great move on Campbell's part. And I think it would definitely be garnering more interest among consumers because Campbell's is such a trusted name. So, yeah, I would definitely be willing to try it, and even though at that steep price point it might be worth it.
Is Campbell's really that trusted? Because I think fans of Rouse sauce were kind of worried that they're going to
mess with it a little. You know what?
Cheapen it.
I appreciate the self-awareness on Campbell's part to make that statement and reassure consumers like we're not touching it. I can maybe anticipate like just a different or more broader distribution or whatever a larger company with more money and resources can offer. Maybe we'll see that. But I from what I understand, I don't think they're messing with the recipe. And I think that is of utmost importance to consumers. I think the devoted fans were just worried because you never know with a change in ownership, like quality can decrease or prices can increase, and that remains to be seen about the prices. But since they recognize that they're really known for the premium ingredients and the taste, I appreciate that they said we're not going to change it. And I also want to point out that I'm a really big pasta person and I love making sauces at home. And even though that price tag like seems high, if you are going to make a quality tomato, even just regular like tomato pomodoro sauce at home, or a marinara, you're spending at least $8 on ingredients.
True.
At least.
Yeah, tomatoes ain't cheap.
No, they're not cheap, especially like high quality, like San Marzano tomatoes, or, if you want to buy quality ingredients and make a quality sauce yourself, you're spending at least $8. So this is already done for you. I appreciate that there's no added sugar or preservatives. They keep it pretty natural. So I would really want to try this because I love pasta and I want to see, if it if it's worth the price tag, which I think it would be, because if we take a step back, it's really not that expensive. And you probably get a decent amount of sauce too. And if you probably get a couple meals out of it. So it seems shocking at first, especially compared to Prego or Ragu or whatever, which I've had before, and they're not great.
Yeah.
They're very affordable, but not the best. I'm a little bit pretentious about pasta, so pardon me there. But they're not amazing. So I think it is actually a pretty reasonable price. All right, well, that's the end of this episode of the Xtalks Food Podcast. If you like today's show, don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. Thanks, everyone, and see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Xtalks Food Industry Podcast. If you enjoyed our discussions today, please share the episode with your friends and colleagues, and be sure to subscribe in order to be notified when a new episode is released. To join in on the discussion, you can find Xtalks on social media. Email podcast@xtalks.com or comment on the articles directly. Links are in the show description. Take a moment to join our community at xtalks.com to get access to everything we have to offer, including webinars, job listings, virtual meetings, articles, and more. The views and opinions expressed in the podcast are those of the speakers sharing them. They should not be taken as professional advice and do not necessarily reflect the policy or position Honeycomb Worldwide. For further information, email us at podcast@xtalks.com. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week.